So yes, I know it's like 8 months until the new iPhone comes out, the iPhone 12 or whatever they're going to call it, maybe the iPhone 20, I don't know. But I've been paying attention to the leaks, the rumors, the CAD renderings, all the concepts and blah, blah, blah. And, there are some things that might get me excited about the new iPhone, but for the most part, I'm starting to feel like the iPhone 12 is already a disappointment. Let's first talk about what specs have been discussed as likely to be in the iPhone, and then we'll talk about the cost and the design, and I'll explain why I feel this way. But first, the specs. Of course, we're going to get the A14 Fusion chip, unless, like, I don't know, the world ends or something. There's a good possibility that we will have 5G on the iPhones this year, at least on some of the models. Who cares? Because by October, nobody's gonna. 5G is not gonna be a widespread thing for a long time. Living out here in Iowa, I know that there's not going to be 5G in my area for at least a couple of years, and so that's. I don't want to have to pay extra for a 5G, even if it's just $50 or $100. I don't care. I don't want to pay it. So I don't care about 5G. On the camera, there's supposed to be potentially a new camera lens, a time of flight camera sensor, which I gotta be honest, I don't know what real value that it's supposed to be able to map a room and all kinds of stuff. Maybe it'll be good, but for the majority of people who are using the iPhone, that kind of improvement is probably not going to be used at all, or not by many. There are going to be 4 models, most people are saying, of this iPhone: a 5.4-inch model, then 2 6.1-inch models, then a 6.7-inch model. So I don't know what to think about that. Before this ever happens, we will likely have the iPhone SE2 or iPhone 9 or whatever it is that you want to call it that will come out. It'll be a 4.7-inch screen with the iPhone 8 design. Frankly, I'm tired of the iPhone, like, curved edges design, and that's one of the reasons why I'm potentially very disappointed, but still, we must go on. This is the big feature that everybody's going to be talking about, and I'm here to tell you it doesn't make any difference on a phone that's less than 7 inches tall, okay? 120 hertz refresh rate that Apple is rumored to be putting into their phones, just like everybody else this year. It's the year of 120 hertz, and nobody should care about this. Nobody should care about this, but people care about it, so whatever. If you think you see something different, maybe a little bit, but no. 60 hertz is fine for a 6.7-inch screen or a 5.4-inch screen. The good news is that all of these iPhones will have Oled screens, which has not been the case with the iPhone XR and then the iPhone 11. Going to have OLED on all of the iPhone 12s. That is a good thing. The 2 larger iPhones will likely have 6 gigabytes of RAM, while the 2 smaller will have 4 gigabytes that iPhones currently have. Now, a lot of you people out there, if you're Android people, or you pay attention to the specs, you'll be like, 6 gigabytes, that's nothing. The new Samsung has 12. The thing is, iOS and Android use the RAM in different ways. A little bit works well for the Apple ecosystem, whereas, like, Android needs more RAM. There are reasons behind it. iOS is optimized for the hardware. Android is more of a one-size-fits-all, so it's, sometimes the hardware has to make up a little bit of difference. And as I said, we're going to have that iPhone SE2 coming out, and that's rumored to be only $400. $400 for a brand new iPhone would be insane. And that's another reason why the iPhone 12 is not going to be as interesting, because I think a lot of people are going to buy that iPhone SE 2 or 9 or whatever they call it, because it has the current specs of an iPhone and it is cheaper. And as we all know, apparently everybody buys the cheaper iPhones. Whatever's the cheapest, this is the one that sells the most, the 10R. I imagine the 11. As I said, because of the 5G implementation and maybe some of the other stuff, the iPhones are likely to go up like maybe $50 to $100 in price. Again, paying extra for a feature that won't be of any use to you is really not a good idea, in my opinion. I think it's a bad idea. I don't care unless I have a 5G tower like outside my house. I don't care because it's not a mature technology yet. It doesn't exist in the majority of anywhere, and so why do we bother? I don't know. You tell me. Now, where it gets a little sketchy is with the design. I mean, there have been all kinds of cool rumors and leaks and concept drawings of a new iPhone 12 that has the squared off, sort of more like the iPhone 5S sides, more like the iPad Pros, which I love that design. I think it's a fantastic design. And if that's the iPhone 12, then I'm excited because I just am tired of this thing. Really, there's not been any like significant change to the iPhone form factor and the way that it looks since the iPhone 6. Yes, the iPhone 10 brought us like stainless steel around the edges, and it's a different design in many ways, but the form of it is the same as the iPhone 6 was, and I'm tired of it. What people are saying is that the iPhone 12 will basically have, and this is coming from Ming-Chi Kuo, who's a very well-regarded prognosticator of Apple stuff. People are saying that the design is not going to be significantly different than the iPhones that we have now. Now, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing because that will be year 4 of this current like stainless steel around the edges design, but really it will be year 7 of this design language, which Apple, stop. Don't do it. Just give us something different. Please let us be excited for something different because it's poop or get off the pot time here, Apple, with this design thing. Another disappointing rumor that I've heard more often than not is that the notch will still be present on the iPhone 12, and that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Yes, I know Face ID, the whole array that you have to have for Face ID requires some space, but God, every other company has come up with some kind of solution for the notch. I mean, Samsung has got their little pinholes, and they look better. That screen looks better than the notch, okay? I was willing to suffer with the notch while the technology was maturing, but if the Face ID technology has not matured enough that we can put them in a little bezel or something like that, then what are you doing? Come on. No more notch. No more notch. If 2020 iPhones have a notch, then you should buy a 2019 iPhone 11. That's what you should do. Or you should buy like the iPhone SE2 for cheap. In other news, the European Union has just passed a resolution saying that all the phones to be sold in the European Union have to have a common charging port, and that charging port will be USB-C most likely. That means Apple this year would have to switch from Lightning, which they've had since 2012 or 13, I think. So they'd have to go from Lightning to USB-C. Yes, the iPad Pros are USB-C. That really doesn't make any difference. The problem with that is, in the short run, that there are a lot of people who are invested in the Apple ecosystem, who have peripherals, who have accessories, who have all different kinds of things that are specifically designed for the Lightning port. So in a quick turnaround, you'd have to go from, here's all my stuff that I use to charge my iPhone or my AirPods or, the headphones that I got that are Lightning headphones or whatever, or the dongle that I have that lets me put my 3.5 millimeter headphones into the iPhone, and then you'd have to get all new stuff. And for some people, that's going to be really a big deal. And so I say, if that happens, it makes more sense to wait till 2021, when we're more than likely guaranteed that we'll have a new design for the iPhone. And it will be a lot easier. There will be an ecosystem of iPhone peripherals made with USB-C exclusively. In my estimation, looking at all this information, looking at all the rumors, thinking about the fact that while I wish, I hope, I dream that there's that more squared off design that looks really cool with no notch and all that kind of stuff, while I hope that that is what happens, and what is more likely to happen is that the iPhone 12 will look like the other iPhones, will have a notch, will give us features that don't matter, like 5G and 120 Hertz, for more money. And yeah, for me, that's a non-starter. If that's what it is, if the iPhone 12 is just that with a few extra things that cost me more money, that's a non-starter. 2020 might be the best year for you to buy a 2019 iPhone 11 Pro, Pro Max, whatever, because the 2020 iPhones are starting to sound like just another warmed over version of what we have had for a long time, plus more expensive. When you've got Samsung charging $1,300 for the S20 Ultra, and Apple's going to likely charge $1,200 for the Pro Max versions of this iPhone, it's too much money, especially when there are so many really good value phones out there that, I mean, if you can get the iPhone SE2 for $400, why would you spend $1,200? Why would you spend 3 times as much? Doesn't make any sense. That's my thought on the iPhone 12 rumors, leaks, whatever. I just had the sinking feeling in my stomach that it's not going to be anything worth getting excited about. Smartphones themselves, I mean, yeah. And I already feel the disappointment setting in. Let me know what you think. Tell me what do you think that we're going to get the same kind of design, the notch, the everything like that for the iPhone 12, or are we going to see something different? I mean, rumor has it, as they say. Interested in your opinion. Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.